Welcome to Unlocking Lore again. This time a little bit late. I'm sorry, but welcome again to Unlocking Lore, the storytelling podcast and live stream in which I, your friendly local neighborhood storyteller, tells you some stories uh, just to wind down or start your day, depending on where you are. Excuse me, in the world. Yes, I do have a light cough, unfortunately. I came down ill last week, and well, I guess I'm just recovering. So let's see who is in the chat. Well, unfortunately, Dunadan is not in the chat, but he did leave a beautiful message and saying, "Sorry, I can't make it tonight. It is pretty late. It is 9:40 in the evening of a Thursday evening. Tomorrow we still have to go to work or to school or whatever we got to do. Sorry about that." So just wanted to wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. I hope you do get to see the live stream again. We also have all the way from Dubai, as always, Semathai. Usually, I hope you're having a nice chai this morning. I hope everything's good over there. So yeah, the lore from Maria's Canadian Arc is here. Yes, I am finally here. I am finally back in Canada after over 20 years. Well, actually 22 to be more exact. I left Canada in the year 2000. Like what? March, April of the year 2000. That's when I left. I haven't come back until now. So, and oh my gosh, it's Rayron! Wing hugs for you. It has been such a long time. I hope you have a good move, Rayron, because I know that you have just, landed in new territories, and you're liking it from what I see in your tweets. So that's so awesome. I'm so happy. I'm so glad that people are like, getting to where they need to be. So yeah. Okay. So yes, Texas is so much better. I'm glad. I'm really glad. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your adventures from over there. And before that time, I think it was Dreaming Tabitha was here. Hopefully she'll make it to the live stream today. You never know. So yeah, it's so awesome to be, surrounded by such wonderful people who have been with me for more than like more than a year. Guys, it has been more than a year. This time last year, I was doing Unlocking Lore Dark Mode during the whole month of October. As you guys know, big, huge move, big, huge change in my life. I haven't been able to do Unlocking Lore sessions until now. And you guys want to know why I decided to do this now? I posted on my Instagram account just like a little story. It says, "Ask me a question." I just love doing that. I love to hear like people's questions, and if it's like a dumb question, obviously I'm not going to answer it. But they were all really nice, interesting questions, and one of them was from Tabitha, and she just wrote, "When is the next Unlocking Lore?" That was the question. She didn't ask me how I was, if I was eating poutine. No, nothing. It's like, when is the next Unlocking Lore? And I was thinking, it has been many months. I think it's time. I think it's time to put in some gear onto it. Unfortunately, I can't do it every week. I will try. I'll keep you posted on that. If not, we're just going to go 1 week. Yes, 1 week. No, I think that is good. So, yes. Yes, so yeah. Say thank you to Tabitha. She was the one who told me, when is the next session? And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I said, right, let's do this Thursday. Fortunately, today was like, okay, now I got this. Now I got this. Ooh, this just popped up. So I've been like trying to move, and I can't do it before because I had some time like between 7 and 8-ish. But then I was thinking, Sam, poor Sam. I mean, he's going to have to wake up at 4 a.m. I'm like, nah, that's not cool. That is so not cool. So, yeah. So, Sam, This one was also for you, so you wouldn't have to wake up so early in the morning to listen to some stories. So, and my wonderful co-host and wonderful graphic designer, JT Gunter. JT, thank you so much for coming here. I'm glad you're back. Yes, I'm glad I'm back too. But it's going to be an on and off until, things start calming down. Thankfully, my Monday to Friday classes are finishing up in about 2 weeks, and then we're going to go start on what we call production. I'm going to be basically on call from Monday to Saturday, but it's not going to be every day, thankfully, because it's from 9 to 9. Sorry. It's but I am going to be a little bit more freer, you could say. Fewer assignments, super fewer assignments. And I'm going to be having more time to spend with you guys doing live streams. So, just a couple more weeks and we're good to go. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. Remember that next week, after the weekend at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, it'll be 5 p.m. Pacific Time, we are going to be reviewing Teen Wolf. That's JT's pick, so go check that out. And if you guys want to help me out, down below in the description, you're going to see my Teespring store. Maybe you want a pillow. Pillows are cute. Or maybe you want a nice hoodie that says Unlocking Lore. I know somebody in the chat does have it. The weather is getting a little bit chilly. I don't know how it is where he is now, but still, I know that he has purchased it last year. I was super, super happy. I appreciated everything because that just gives me, it's people have my logo out there and they're using it. So I know he purchased the hoodie. I hope you have that reserved for the winter months coming up. And if not, you got mugs, you got everything. And if you just want to tip me, down in the description below, you do have my tipping page. So every little bit counts. You guys know that I'm studying. I'm also working at the same time, but everything counts. I do not have any commissions for crochets. Amazingly enough, everything just stopped. After I did the Asaha Ventress for Nico, for Glock, sorry. Yep, everything just kind of died down. Well, I guess heaven's will, because God's will that he said, nope, you got to focus on this and you got to focus on that. So, but I am crocheting a little bit. I did do a little hat, but I was left without yarn, so I got to go buy some yarn. Anyway, I hope you guys are ready for a good story. It's a very short story. I just learned this one, so this is a premiere of an autumn story that I found just recently, and very interestingly, it has a lot of poems, which I will not recite. I'm sorry, I do not like reciting poems. I'm bad at memorizing lines, which is why I never got into acting. Yeah, I never got into acting. Storytelling and acting are two different things. And which is why now I'm dedicating myself to what's behind the scenes of a play. So that's the production area. I get to see carpentry, I get to see props, I get to see wardrobe, I get to see lighting, audio. Some amazing stuff, but everything behind the scenes. Because you know what? I do not like memorizing things. So yes. Yes, and it is Autumn Story. An autumn story. It's called Prince of Autumn, actually. That is the title of the story, and that's what we are going to be hearing tonight. So I hope you guys like it as much as I do. If you are interested in actually reading the story, just let me know. I'll give you the link for the EPUB free book. That's where I got it. It's public domain. There's nothing wrong with that. Once a story comes into me, it doesn't come out the same way. So just remember that. There are going to be changes. I am not going to be reciting the beautiful poems that they do have. But it is a really, really nice short story. that I hope you guys like it as much as I do. So without further ado, let's get into this. In a world where legends come back to life and magic is in the air, we gather around to listen and delve deep into the lore. This is Unlocking Lore. Once, in a faraway land where there was lots of forests, rivers, and valleys, there was a man. His hair was as golden rose and as red as rust. He had a beautiful long beard, also the color of rust. His eyes deep brown, and his skin, though wrinkly, was fair. He had a beautiful long coat with the colors of orange and brown and red that flapped in the wind. Yes, it was the Prince of Autumn. And he came around that time when the sun was coming down, and he looked upon the valley from up on the hill. He smiled as he heard the rustling of the wind moving the leaves of the trees. And he took out his wooden horn. He put it up to his mouth, and he blew so hard. A deep, deep bass sound came out. And with that, the trees shook from roots to top. The birds stopped chirping and looked around, but didn't know what happened. The wind died down, as if it wanted to hear the sound again. The Prince, Autumn, put down his horn and smiled. He knew that his time had come. And down he went to the valley. Down, down, down. And as he was passing by, the leaves that brushed against his coat would immediately turn into a beautiful golden color or a beautiful red color. Just a couple. Once he was halfway down, he grabbed again his horn. He put it up to his mouth, and he blew, blew, blew. A deep bass voice came out. And with that, another young man appeared down in the valley. His hair shone like the sun. His skin was a little bit tanned, and his eyes were the color of honey. He looked at the man with the red coat. He looked at Autumn, and he smiled. "Brother, you're here." And when he smiled, his face was so radiant that every other creature didn't notice Autumn anymore. It was the Prince of Summer, the great, wonderful summer that had a long, lasting life. "You're here," he said. "Come." He took one step, but that was all he did, because that was what the greater ones did. So Autumn came down the valley and came up to his brother. He bent low and said, "Brother, I am here." "Come, walk with me," said Summer. And off they went, side by side. Every other creature didn't notice autumn, for they were all gazing at the radiance of summer, while he looked around smiling. But what they didn't notice is that when autumn passed, that side on which he was, the leaves would catch a color, and once in a while one leaf would fall down to the ground. The birds were chirping, the bees were still collecting their nectar for their honey. Creatures would go around, birds would still be flying, and Summer was so pleased that he looked to his brother. He smiled, but he did say, "Do you remember your promise?" he said. Autumn looked with his brown eyes to Summer and said, "I do remember. Don't worry, I will take care of them." And as they were walking down in the valley, beside the brooks and beside the few other bushes and trees that were there, Summer said, "Good. Take care of them. Take care of them now that I leave. I will take only 3. I will take the nightingale, the cuckoo, and the stork, but the rest you must have them follow me afterwards. As for the creatures here, please warn them." The Prince of Autumn looked at his brother and said, "I will blow my horn 5 times for them to finish off whatever is needed before our other brother comes." Feeling reassured, the Prince of Summer looked at his brother, again, his smile radiant. He took his hand and put it on his shoulder of his brother and said, "I believe you. Now I will take my leave." And with that, with the dusk and the setting sun, Summer left. No one noticed when he left, except Autumn, who again took out his horn. The first warning that summer had ended. He put it up to his head, his mouth, and started to blow, blow, blow. And again it shook the trees, and it shook the bushes. The rivers, the brooks started to run down a little bit faster. They didn't know why. But finally, the Prince of Autumn, it was his territory, his domain, but only for a short while. He started to walk, and as he walked, the trees started to gain more and more colors. The days were growing shorter, but still there was a beautiful, beautiful day. It was temperate. It wasn't cold. It wasn't hot. It was just right. And the colors of every single plant that you could possibly find were so beautiful that anyone who would pass would immediately stop and gaze, as did Autumn. But again, he knew that the time was coming. His domain was short. He put up his horn again and blew a second time. This time, it was much, much longer, as if warning that winter was coming. Autumn felt a little bit annoyed. His domain was very short, and he made people happy with his power. Yet he was stuck between 2 great masters and 2 jealous brothers. Summer, who was all joy and radiant, and the coming winter, his elder brother, with his big booming voice and his very, very strong winds and storms. And Prince Autumn knew that he had to get things quickly. So he started to walk faster along the forests and the valleys, changing and changing and changing. And he started to pick up the wind a little bit more. With that, his coat flapped around. A few weeks later, he grabbed his horn again. Winter was coming. It was very near. He grabbed his horn and he started to blow, 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 the warning sign of winter. And that was when the dandelions and the flowers and the trees started to pick up the pace. Quick, quick, said Autumn. I hear him coming. And the dandelions started to take out their seeds, and they cried, wind, wind, blow our seeds. And the wind would come and start to blow off all the seeds of all the flowers, as if winter was coming beforehand, but it wasn't cold yet. The trees started to make their leaves fall, and the wind was helping them, covering the lands with the brown, red, yellowish leaves. The animals started to gather their things. The birds started to fly and fly and fly away. Flocks of geese, of birds flew down to the south and started to migrate. But that night, without warning, a big gust of northern mountain wind came down. It was colder than it should have been. Annoyed, Autumn, who knew that his time had not finished, looked up at the sky and screamed, "Is that the best you can do?" in a hoarse voice. And through that wind, there was a booming voice. "Do you remember our bargain, Autumn?" Autumn knew who it was, as do you, and as do I. "I do," he said. "Well, make haste and take care, for I am coming." And with that, Autumn knew that he had to pick up the pace. So once again, reluctantly, he grabbed his horn and started to blow, blow, blow a very, very low-based sound, long and strong. And with that, a big gust of wind came and started to blow all the rest of the leaves out. The creatures started to hide into their burrows. The mice would grab all the little nuts that he found and put them into his burrow. The hedgehog that had eaten as much as he could went down again and curled up, getting ready. There were two other creatures out there, and Autumn went to them and he patted them, and all of a sudden the rabbit grabbed his new coat, a white furry coat, and as did the fox. They were ready. And when morning came, Autumn went up the hill and looked out, and it was all barren. "It is done," he said sadly. His days were almost over. And he looked around to the mountains, and he heard a booming voice. "I come! My storms are ready, my winds I cannot restrain. If you have not finished with your duties, I am not to blame. Autumn looked up with a sad face. He said, "It is done." And with that winter came roaring down the mountains. A great, great blizzard with snowflakes and ice. Freezing winds came down. And these snowflakes fell onto the coat of Autumn. Sadly, he grabbed the last time his horn. He put it to his mouth, and started to blow a soft, nice sound. And with that, he picked up with the wind and left that night, leaving, for his domain had finished. But no worries, he thought. There is always next year to bring joy and comfort with the beautiful colors of autumn. Well, thank you so much for listening. This is definitely not one of the normal stories that I tell. So the imagery, yes, exactly. This is what I felt when I was reading this story. Remember that I take my inspiration I get from books and anything basically I can get on the internet. I found this story in a book called. Wait a second, I'll just give it to you because I don't want to bash such a beautiful title. Actually, no, it's not the Cocoon Book Project. So it's like the Topaz Storybook of and stories and legends of autumn, Halloween, and Thanksgiving. So definitely, feeling the vibes. So and that's what I read this story. I thought this is so the imagery is so good. Like I could imagine the trees and the wind and the creatures, changing. I definitely I changed a little bit the story to fit a narrative, an oral like tradition. If you guys want to read it again, I can give you the link. But thank you, Faith, for coming. Thank you so much. I know, we now only share through TikTok, so it's so awesome that you were able to make it. Thank you so much. Sam, as always, you're like so supportive, and thank you, JT. I hope you liked it. I know that you sometimes listen to my stories like the next day, so it was really nice that you could come this evening and just enjoy like the live storytelling. So anyway, as you guys know, this was going to be a very short tale. I hope I can make something happen next week. Just stay tuned to like what happens depending on things happen. We the Canadians on Monday we celebrate Thanksgiving on Monday. You guys know that in Canada we celebrate in October. I know that in America, in the United States, you guys celebrate in November. I don't know what date it is, but I do know that you guys do it in November. But so Monday is like for me, it's a free day. But again, let's see, because I do have a lot of assignments now. It's like horrible. Guys, do not go back to school. It sucks. I mean, I love what I'm doing, but it just sucks. It's like, again, homework and all that stuff. Thankfully, it's like all hands on. So I'm going to be posting up some stuff of the projects, of the carpentry projects and the pop projects on my social medias, as always. Having homework is not cool. Lisa, thank you so much for coming. It is the fourth Thursday of November. Thank you for letting me know. I always get mixed up with my dates. So I mean, yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, guys, that's it for tonight. Remember to check out on Monday. We are going to be reviewing Teen Wolf on After the Weekend. Tomorrow is Friday Night's Rumble. With all the gang over at Legion Talks. I don't know which channel because he has like 30 channels. I don't know which one it is. So that's tomorrow evening. That's 8 o'clock. I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern time. Also, I have to check with that. JT, you can help me with that. I think it is 8 o'clock. Not sure. But anyway, you can catch us there. At least you can catch R2 there. And well, myself, I going to be saying good night to you all. And Sam, again, have a good day. I'll see you guys around. Bye.